Look at this protest over the weekend. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children? Gay rights used to mean just what it sounds like, civil rights for people who are homosexual. In most ways, those rights were always there. The right to own property, the right to vote, freedom of speech, etc. But until a couple of generations ago, gay sex itself was a crime. Not one that was often prosecuted, but it was formally on the books until 1969 in Canada. So that was 54 years ago. There were other limits on gay people too. Joining the military, for an example, that was ended in 1992 in Canada, so 31 years ago. Gay marriage became lawful in various provinces in 2003, and the Supreme Court of Canada made it national law in 2005, so that's 18 years ago. Gay pride parades are amongst the largest parades in major cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal now. They are major corporate events drawing millions of dollars in sponsorship and government money too. There really are no areas in public life where being gay is a barrier to entry. Not in the corporate world, not in the political world. It's not insurgent anymore. It's actually completely dominant. It's gone corporate. I think it has been that way for at least a generation, really two. But that's the thing about cultural Marxism. It exists to create conflict. It makes identity a central political fact. And just like the election and re-election of Barack Obama as U.S. president did not end racial division in America, but actually marked the beginning of a new era of woke racism, so too has the total victory of the gay rights movement. Instead of taking a victory lap, both movements became weaponized. Obama was obviously elected by an enormous number of white people, but instead of using his unique position to heal racial wounds of the past, he actually used it to have a perpetual political war amongst Americans as a wedge based on race to put the Republicans on the back foot to drive his political agenda. Now that's happening with gay rights too. It's being weaponized for other purposes. It's not actually about gay rights anymore. I don't even think it's about gay at all. In fact, I think the T in LGBT is actually inherently contrary to the L and the G. A gay man is gay, a lesbian is a gay woman, but the T, that implies that a person is born in the wrong body. They have to transition. And the ultimate extension of that idea, I guess, is that if you are gay, you have to undergo extreme body-altering surgery and drugs to get into your proper body. You can't just be a gay man or a lesbian. You have to transition to being a trans woman or a trans man. How is that not anti-gay, actually? The T in LGBT used to be so fringe. It was a rounding era. I mean, in the 1980s, Dustin Hoffman's movie Tootsie was a fun, quirky comedy. Same with the 1990s Mrs. Doubtfire with Robin Williams. Guys who dressed up as women as a disguise, but they were straight. They just had some laughs. I mean, that's how it was in society until about 5 minutes ago. But now it is an identity. And what are there, 53 genders now? There's just not LGBT anymore. There's 2SLGBTQ+. Can you tell me what those stand for? I bet you can't. Take a look at this guy.
2SLGBTQI+ rights are human rights.
I bet Trudeau doesn't know what that stands for either. He's just good at memorizing a few lines. But I'll tell you, it stands for two-spirited, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, and then additional sexual orientations and gender identities. Like the plus means more to come. So it's unlimited. It's not a man who is attracted to a man or a woman who is attracted to a woman. That's what gay was about. But this is now about queering and questioning everything, smashing conceptions, smashing structures and establishments. That's explicitly the goal. That's why there's queer math. There is no gay math. Math isn't gay or straight. But queer math, queer spelling, queer history is expressly to smash the oppressor who gave us 2 + 2 = 4. No, it isn't. It really is like the satirical website, The Onion. They were around a long time before the Babylon Bee. 22 years ago, The Onion published this headline. Gay Pride Parade sets mainstream acceptance of gays back 50 years. Look at this, published in April 2001. Let me read a little bit. Hollywood, California. The mainstream acceptance of gays and lesbians, a hard-won civil rights victory, came through decades of struggle against prejudice and discrimination, was set back at least 50 years Saturday in the wake of the annual Los Angeles Gay Pride Parade. And it goes on in some graphic detail. And then it has the punchline. Allison Weber, 43, and El Segundo marketing consultant, also had her perceptions and assumptions about gays challenged by the parade. Quote, my understanding was that gay people are just like everyone else, decent, hardworking people who care about their communities and have loving, committed relationships, Weber said. But after this terrifying spectacle, I don't want them teaching my kids or living in my neighborhood. Now, that was satire. That was funny in 2001. But satire really can't keep up with reality, can it? The rainbow flag itself has given way to what Lawrence Fox calls the migraine flag. And that, too, is already out of date. I saw the autistic gay flag for the first time the other day. It's so far past being about gay rights and gay equality. But what I think is a bridge too far is it's not just about the sexuality. It's about a new focus on children. And that's not the definition of gay or lesbian, is it? That's not same-sex attraction. That's now targeting children of tender years. That is not about same-sex anymore. That is about pedophilia. They have a new phrase, minor attracted person, they're trying to normalize. Why would you say this? New York City drag marchers chant, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Why would you say this?
We're queer, we're coming for your children.
A taunt? A provocation? Or is it actually real? Well, if you've been paying attention at all to what's going on in schools, it is absolutely real. How did gay rights, the right to free speech for gay people, the right to free association, the right to privacy for gay people, the right to join the army, the right not to be fired from a job, the right to marry another consenting adult, things that suddenly, how does that suddenly turn into targeting kids? Where's the connection? Targeting kids with any sexual orientation, because that's the thing about children. They are pre-sexual. What are you doing breaking that taboo? What would you think of a group of heterosexual activists? I don't know what that would be, like a stripper or a prostitute or a pimp, had parades and said they were coming for your children. It would be shocking and bizarre. No children are allowed in strip clubs or in brothels. It would be an arrestable offense if they were. But not so with the new LGBTQ post-gay movement. That is shockingly about children. Why? That ancient taboo just being detonated in front of our eyes. How did that get grafted onto the LGB campaign? Here's a group called Gays Against Groomers with a protest at the New York City Pride Parade. Take a look at this. Pride is not for kids. Take them home. There is no pride in sexualizing, indoctrinating, or mutilating kids, which is where the T and the Q are going. It's not natural. It's not authentic or self-originating. This is an idea, this transgenderism, planted in the minds of kids. What are they doing talking to kids at all about sex? That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gun Show. It's pretty amazing. You know, we rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.